Was it gold?
It was book club gold, Melanie.
I'm not saying it now.
Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Simon of Savidge Reads, and today on my 4th Booktube birthday it is the Sykes and Savidge book club. So look who's here, it's Melanie.
Hello, happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much. Later on we'll be talking about London Party by Lucy Foley, but I thought before that we'd have a bit of a chat. How are you?
Well, I'm good. I've been sunbathing, if you noticed. I've been in my garden an awful lot lately, just getting that vitamin D.
Yeah.
And reading, of course. Good. What about you?
I'm out in the garden, but I broke my toe. I was taken up skipping and then mysteriously broke my toe 2 days later.
Oh no, you can't do anything about it, can you? If you strap them together.
Hope for the best. I'm trying to now treat it like a holiday at home.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, it kind of is for me. I mean, even in when I look at my laundry looks like I've just emptied a suitcase because it's just summer dresses and bikinis. It's like, that's all I've been wearing lately. And it just looks like I've been away. So you've just got to just see the positives and take the opportunities, haven't you? So.
You have. I think that's the wisest way. I've watched, since we last spoke, and I know you've seen, and I thought we should talk about this because it is the book talk of the moment. Normal people, or as I'm calling it, formal people, because, ooh.
Amazing. Because I read the book when it came out, and I liked it, but there was an element of, it just felt quite a dark read. But it wasn't as dark to watch.
No. In
a weird way, even though it's exactly the same story, the same subject matter, it just did, the energy was slightly different. I don't know why. Yeah. But it was such a slow pace. It was like reading the book also, you know, it wasn't, it didn't change much. And in fact, I think it was definitely improved by being shown. That doesn't often happen, I don't think, with books.
No, that's true.
I always prefer the book to the film, always.
What I was worried about, because normal people's all about what people don't say to each other. And I was like, how are they going to do that in a TV show? But the acting was so good.
Unbelievable.
There was a lot of... to the point where in episode 2, after 9 minutes, Chris was like, I'm off. I've had enough of this. I'm not watching this anymore.
Well, I watched it on my own, and I thought it was bloody great. I mean, just the acting. I don't know how they do those scenes. I don't know how they actually do those scenes. Do you?
No.
Like, it's so, the emotion and everything, it's all there, yet it's not real.
It wasn't like it was doing it to be gratuitous. It was really important to the characters and how they emote to each other through that. But I have to say, like, I didn't fancy Connell in the book. I do in the TV show, and he's not my normal type at all. But
well, I know it's so funny on Instagram because I'd put on there that I'd seen it, and so many sort of women are just going mad for him. He's apparently there's an Instagram page that's just him and his necklace, pictures of him and his necklace. But to be honest, I'll be really honest, he was a lovely boy and everything, but I didn't feel that way about him at all. Thankfully, because I think it would have melted into my sofa. I just thought to be honest, it was her that really got me. Like, her performance is just insanely good.
Yeah, no, I think
I was so more vibing off of her than I was off of him in a way.
And two, some other bookish stuff. Now, when we did our sort of introduction video and said hello to everybody, you mentioned how you've really got into crime fiction and thrillers in the last sort of few years. And what is it that you enjoy about a good crime? Not literally.
I'm one of those people that if I watch crime on TV, you know, some people just know who's done it straight away and they just get it. It's too cryptic for me, so I'm left guessing till the very last second and the very last page. So I suppose for me, it's always an element of surprise. And I like the ducking and diving and the revealing of certain elements and not all of it. I suppose it's that cat and mouse scenario that's quite good fun when you're reading.
Yeah.
And like I say, because I'm not very cryptically minded, it's always a surprise to me at the end. So I guess it's that's quite fun for me.
Not a big fan of like super gory. It feels a bit voyeuristic. I'm more interested in the mystery because I like to think that I'm Miss Marple.
Oh, you do you? Are you good at sussing it out then?
Not always, but I just like to have a good crack, and often I'm so busy being Miss Marple, I'm off down an absolute rabbit hole and I've gone somewhere. I like it as well when crime authors and thriller writers play a game with you, but it's not unfair. Like, I think sometimes you can read a thriller and think, well, how the heck was I meant to guess that because this character turned up in page 340? But I really like it when it's like, I feel like the game is afoot.
Well, I mean, The Hunting Party definitely does that, though, doesn't it? It's not... I mean, everybody's a potential suspect, which is, of course, a key ingredient to these things.
Yeah. So many people message me going, oh, I just couldn't cope with it because I didn't like the characters. And I find that fascinating because I quite like disliking characters. And I saw Lucy Foley said herself that she wanted to write characters that people loved to hate.
Well, I think she managed that really well because they were pretty obnoxious, weren't they? I mean, I didn't really dig anybody. Apart from the two that looked after the house and stuff. So you've got Doug and Heather.
Yeah.
They were the most likeable people.
Yeah.
And, you know, they were quite damaged and they obviously had, like, you know, disturbing things happen to them in their lives, and as well as all the other cast. But the rest of them were just too privileged and they were irritating and didn't like them. So my favourite character was Doug. I thought Doug was great.
I'd have quite liked to see what was under his sporran. Frankly. Quite a fancy Doug, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, quite fancied Doug. Yes, I had my imaginings of Doug. You got to get your kicks where you can.
Exactly, kicks from kilts. That's a new hashtag. But when you're reading like thrillers or fiction in general and you have a cast of unlikable characters, does that put you off, or do you quite enjoy the sort of...
Yeah, I don't have to like people. I mean, I'm kind of like that in life, really. I mean, I don't feel any pressure to be to like or be liked, to be honest. And so when I'm reading people that are a bit sort of repugnant, it's fine because that's just the way things are, and they're fictional, so it doesn't matter if you judge them a little bit.
I find myself with it almost like I go too far. Like I almost get to the point where I'm enjoying disliking them. Like there were points in this book where I was like, I'd just kill them all. I'm done with them. Get rid of them all. I've had enough. But we should explain a little bit about the book, which is, as we said, The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. And it's set at New Year's Eve, and it's in the middle of the Scottish Highlands, and a group of friends go and stay at this lodge in the middle of nowhere. And then we learn that one of them is dead soon after. But what I think is brilliant about this book, and I don't know if you enjoyed this element as well, is I was amazed how well she held the tension that you don't know who the murderer is or the victim until really, really near the end. It could have really peed me off, but actually I was all right with it. I thought it was quite well done.
No, I thought it was really well done. It's really, really clever. I can't imagine how you have to plot that. I mean, I guess you plot out that before you even really start writing details, I guess. And also, like we say, everybody could have done it as well, which is just brilliant. How you keep those balls in the air when you're writing is really, really skilled.
I really love. Did you like the setting? Because I really love the Highlands as like a setting, and also that time of year.
See, I like the idea of being cut off from things, which is why I'm thriving in lockdown. but I don't know if you know, the writer had actually been to sort of a place similar and had a similar conversation when she was there. I think that inspired the entire book. I love the setting. I haven't spent half as much time in Scotland as I'd like to. I mean, I don't know if you go much.
No, I really want to now, because obviously we might not be flying anywhere for a little while. But I think holidays are open. Actually, the Highlands would be a really, really great place to head.
My God.
Oh, I'd love it.
Oh my God, now you're talking my language. I love a motorhome.
That's it. We're going to take Sykes and Savidge Book Club off the Highlands next year. That's sorted.
Sorted. Done. Deal.
I really want to go to Orkney and go and swim with the seals. You can swim.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is not a travel show.
Again, and it's that same thing, and I think I said it last time, is there's so many characters I really struggle to keep up with everybody. You know, who's with who and whose husband is that and who's the girlfriend of that person, And I think it's my lockdown brain that's struggling with it. I'm going to stick with that. It's not me generally.
No, I think with this one, actually, I struggled more. And I felt that was because some of the big party that went up became a little bit inconsequential, really. Where did that word come from?
I like it.
What are your thoughts about the multiple point of views and the fact that came from Katie Rollo? Because we get to hear from Doug, Heather, Miranda, Katie and Emma. How did you feel about that? Because I thought it kind of maybe led me in my Miss Marple brain mode to think that one of them must have done it and one of them must have been the victim because of the other voices were silent.
I actually, I didn't tune into that at all. I think it was just enough. I think it was, but you're right. I guess it's whoever's the voices are, that's one of the people that's going to, is going to be the one.
Goodbye Frida Books, who talked about this a little bit, said, what do you think about the Oxford constant mention? Just made me feel inferior somehow. I thought that was just about constantly knowing that these characters are really privileged.
There was lots of talking, there was lots of going back to those days, so I guess you have to kind of say it. You have to mention it again, but it definitely helps feeling that they're the elite crew.
Yeah, it makes you feel more...
And yet they're still messed up.
Yeah.
And not happy. And all those things. I mean, I've got to say, I loved it when Miranda goes to Doug, doesn't she, for like a revenge shag. Can we say shag?
Yeah.
And and he's like, he's not interested. It's like, yes! That just made me giggle. I thought, yeah, babes, it's not working tonight, love.
Well, Miranda, I feel is like a character that you really, really love to hate. But I did kind of, and it was actually a comment that somebody, spookily, this moves to the next comment from Fishbird Photography. Did you find it weird how often everyone referred to Miranda's looks? We get it, she's pretty.
I like that, and I agree with that.
Often it's either that really pretty people are bad and are absolute bitches, or really fat people are bad and lazy and sloven. And I just don't like that thing. Partly because I'm a big boy, but
no, but I get that too. Like, it's kind of an obvious choice, isn't it? But it's not very fair because you can't help your blooming genetic makeup, and your genetic makeup does not make you a certain person.
Yeah,
your circumstance will make you an arsehole, but your beauty doesn't.
No.
And yet, it's just an easy target. She's an easy target. I mean, I've just said as well about her going there and not being taken up by Doug. Taken up by Doug.
Really?
Taken up by Doug. Yeah, she's a target because she's seemingly got everything, you know, and it's not really very fair.
Although she is an absolute cow.
Yeah. Yeah, but she could be an absolute cow anyways. What I'm saying is it's not related to beauty.
No.
It's not. It's just, for me, it's just, she's beautiful, so what? I tell you what I did love. I loved the stalker element as well.
Yeah.
Is that collecting things from someone and then sending them back and having this box of somebody else's treasures. I did really, really love that.
Miranda sort of collects people around her, just like this person is collecting stuff from her. And then out of nowhere it stops. But I thought what was brilliantly written by Lucy Foley there is the residual trauma of that, because even though it stops, Miranda's still looking for it all the time. I guess actually from now on, from this point, we can say we can spoil stuff. I think that's fair game. And
okay.
So I actually thought the whole way through, spoilers allowed now, that it was Katie that was stalking Miranda. I didn't think it was Emma.
I didn't think it was anybody because I'm rubbish at this guessing game. So I just was going for it and just reading it and just wait for somebody to tell me what the hell was going on. But you thought it was Katie.
Yeah, I did. And actually, going back to what I was going to say in terms of spoilers, because we see things through these different people's point of views. And Miranda, I noticed that her narrative, she's talking directly to the reader. So I thought she might have been the killer because she was almost giving her case, because she kept saying, I did this, and da-da-da-da. I was like, well, she must be the killer then. I think I possibly overthought it.
Well, you were wrong, weren't you?
I was. Thanks, Melanie, for pointing that out. Curiously curious asked, did you like any of the characters? I found it hard to warm to any of them. And it's interesting, very much like you, Melanie, I felt that Doug and Heather were the real redemption of the novel.
Yeah.
They were the ones.
Lovely love story, really. There was a love story going on.
Which I didn't know how I felt about. I felt like I almost didn't need the epilogue.
I'm not necessarily a mushy person, but I did really like that bit. You know, Heather and Doug potentially getting it together. I kind of like that wrap up. I know you didn't really need it, but for me, I was happy with that. You know, I needed something like that at the end.
I'll tell you what I did love at the end. You see that Emma, who was the one who was stalking Miranda and ends up killing her, the fact that she turned herself into Miranda in many ways, and then as soon as Miranda was dead, she'd almost gone back to that meek, timid. I found that really fascinating, and it gave me quite a lot of chills at the end of that. Laura and her bookish thoughts said, who was your first suspect? And I think, for me, it was whoever started speaking first, because literally, like we said, Lucy Foley makes every single character potentially a murderer.
Yeah, no, for me it was Doug. For me, I don't know why, I just thought it was going to be Doug.
Doug did it.
Doug did it!
I thought actually what was really good about his story was sometimes I think crime can deal with some quite dark territory. Doug's storyline of post-traumatic stress, I thought that was actually done really, really, really well. I thought that was a
I liked that. I liked that whole story, that whole reveal about him. I thought it was fantastic, and you just gain so much empathy and sympathy, and he's really good. He's my favourite character.
One of the themes that I thought this book really brought up really well was friendship, and how friendships do change through time, and how sometimes we make friends with people who like are good for a certain part of life. Like I'm not friends with that many people that I was at secondary school with now.
No, I'm not, but I moved away from home really early. I moved away from my village when I was 19 to come to London, so I kept in contact with maybe one or two people.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because I'm reading it and I didn't go to university. You probably can tell. No, but so that those relationships that people make during university tend to be for years and years and years, like with normal people as well. Those relationships that just go on and on and on, and I can't relate to that. Because I was modelling, I was travelling, I was meeting new people pretty much every day and not necessarily keeping contact with these people, because, I would rock up to an airport and meet a new team, go away with them for 2 weeks, get really, really close and tight, but then not really ever see them again. And it wasn't because it was fake, it's because you can't maintain it. But people that went to university, and I've obviously got friends that did go to university, they still got all their mates through marriages and divorces and babies, and it's just like, and I'm slightly jealous really, because I don't have that network. I don't have that. But in this book, it's not necessarily a good network. It can be quite a toxic one.
Well, I think it's one of the last lines in the book was that Katie says she feels like she might need to make some new friends, and I thought, damn right.
Yeah, man. Who needs that long?
But at the same time, there was one point about Emma, not that I'm a psychopath, but there was something about Emma that I actually really empathised with, because at school I was really badly bullied, and I was kind of, well, first of all, I was in that sort of group where you're not in the popular group, you're not in the not popular group, you're somewhere in the middle. But I was getting bullied at the same time, but I remember just yearning for really good mates. I know what that yearning is to make friends, and how you do want to kind of, I don't know, do you know what I mean? I got that from Emma, and I thought that was cool, because she wasn't just a psychopath, she was fully rounded in the fact that you understood why she was so...
Absolutely, because I'm the same with you. I was in that middle group. I wasn't, I was not popular, and I was always really uncomfortable at school, and I was bullied because I was mixed race as well, so I still am mixed race.
Okay, hello.
So yes, even though obviously, she committed a crime and it's pretty serious, and, she really needed help, you understood her, and I could relate to her, in that way. And I think that's really important. It's really important when you're reading about these people, There's a bit in it where Miranda first meets Emma.
Yes.
And then she forgets about her.
Yes.
How can you forget someone? Like, as if You've never met them before.
I think the point that she was trying to make with that was that Miranda's one of those people who people just come to her all the time. So I don't think she makes an effort to remember people. She would expect people to remember her, but wouldn't remember other people.
I remember thinking, because for me, it's just, if I've seen your face, I remember your face. I don't do that shut down with people. It's just not in my nature. So I was like, really? So she meets her, she has drinks with her, they go, then a bit later on, it's like she doesn't exist. I just can't even fathom being able to do that.
One thing that we haven't mentioned actually is something that Victoria Scott mentioned, and that's the control in relationships. And I didn't spot that massively. And
I did. I was just about to say that. I didn't spot that either.
No, the only point I did was in terms of friendship control. I didn't see it as controlling in relationships. I did think
not in the romantic relationships. No, I didn't spot that at all, and I think I would have picked up on that.
As you can see, there's so much to talk about from this book.
It is. It's very. It's a very full read. That's for sure.
The next book is going to be. It's going to be Graceland by Bethan Roberts. Now, if you've been watching this channel for any length of time or used to follow my blog, I have loved Bethan Roberts' writing for a long, long time. There's a book that I think you would like as well, Melanie, which is called My Policeman, which is set in the 1950s in Brighton before it was legal to be gay. And it's about a policeman who is having a relationship with a woman and a man. And it's just ace. But this is all about... Who's it about, Melanie?
It's about the most beautiful man that ever walked this earth. Elvis! I'm really thrilled we're reading it.
Also, I'm interested because I don't think mothers and sons is a topic that's written about that much in fiction. It's often about mothers and daughters and fathers and sons. But I find this really interesting, especially because I'm like, my mum was a single mum.
Even just that subtitle thing, what if your son was the king of rock and roll? I mean, can you imagine? That's just insane, isn't it? It's just an absolute bizarre concept. All of a sudden, this child that you gave birth to is just the most famous man on the planet. You can't even fathom, can you?
So it's going to be interesting.
It's very exciting.
So the fact that it's one of my favourite authors, the fact that it's one of Melanie's favourite people, perfect. Couldn't go wrong.
It is perfect.
And we'll be talking about it on June the 25th. But before we go, just to mention, the lovely folk at HarperCollins have got 5 copies of the guest list to give away. And the way that you can win this is just leaving a comment down below where you let us know of any books with unlikable characters you've loved. If you just start giggling at me pointing down below, Melanie.
I know. Sorry, I'm a very simple creature. Forgive me.
Anyway, as I was saying, comments down below, and 5 of you will be picked, and then HarperCollins will send you a copy of the next Lucy Foley. Melanie, it's been a joy. It's been a treat.
Always.
That's all from us. We'll be back on June the 25th. I'll be back soon. You can catch Mel on Saturdays on Radio 2 if you want to hear her with lovely Alan Carr.
10 till 1 with Alan Carr. Yes, as of every Saturday now till God knows when.
She loves the gays.
I do indeed.
But until then, it's bye from me.
Bye from me and Elvis.
And we'll see you all soon. Bye.
Bye.